June 20th, 2017, I was involved in a near fatal trench collapse. This exact site.
Sheriff's officials responded to an unusual call about 20 minutes southwest of here this afternoon, where they rescued 3 men, Benjamin and Martin Wilberding and Donald Pierce, after a trench they were digging collapsed.
I'm a plumbing and heating contractor. I own my own company. It's a very small company, just myself and my son. Been doing plumbing and heating for about 30 years. I've been a firefighter for over 30 years. I've been chief for almost 2 years now. It's a good community service. Everybody's there pretty much to pitch in and help out. I figured we'd be done probably by mid-afternoon from this little project. You know, trench 3-4 feet deep, 150 feet long, but as it turned out, it wasn't that easy. The project was we're gonna hook the sewer line from the septic tank over to the shed. We started by digging up the inlet to the septic tank. I was working on getting a Y in that and getting that hooked up. And my son and the backhoe excavator were working on digging the trench to the shed. We anticipated the trench was only going to be 3 or 4 feet deep. They got a little off track and they got up to possibly maybe 6 or 7 feet deep. Now it's getting to be about 11:30 a.m. I called my wife. My son called up to me and said, "Hey Dad, come on down here and grab a shovel. This trench collapsed on me a little bit." And he was literally buried to his ankles. So I turned to go to the truck to get a flat bar, and as soon as I turned, the trench collapsed immediately. Fortunately, I had my arm up like this. There was a void in front of my face. I was able to breathe. I could talk to my son. Ben and Donald, the backhoe operator, were buried up to their waist, and they were within 3 feet or 4 feet of where I was at. Donald, the backhoe operator, could reach Ben's pocket, and he actually is the one that he ripped Ben's pants to get the cell phone out of his pocket. I was completely buried. If they would have been completely buried too, it would have been a whole different story. Benton Fire Department, Benton First Responders, Cuba City Area Rescue Squad, and Schulzburg Rescue Squad were dispatched to the scene. My wife was on her way out here when the accident happened. Probably took her 10 minutes to get out here. She had no idea what was going on.
Typically when they are doing a septic system, I would bring them lunch out so they wouldn't have to leave. I had their food, and as I was walking to where the trench was, I could see my son was there, and he was buried probably up to his waist or so. And I never even put it together until he looked at me and said, "Mom, he's talking to me, he's okay, he's alive." And then I realized that Marty had been buried in the trench as well.
I had a glove on my hand. She saw the glove laying on top of the dirt. She had no idea that I was there. Dirt coming in is a massive force. Every time you exhale, that dirt caves in on you a little bit more. It took them approximately 90 minutes to dig me out. I felt no pain whatsoever. I had no idea the severity of my injuries.
And they told me that the bird was coming in, and they said, "That's just a precaution. We're just gonna see what's gonna happen here."
I was airlifted to UW hospitals in Madison. On the first night I underwent surgery on my eye. I broke the orbit around my eye. I got a small plate under my eye. The next day I had surgery on my hip, 14 screws in my hip, and what appears to be like 2 pieces of band iron holding it together. Ended up with 16 broken ribs and broke my neck. I was in UW hospitals for 2 weeks, and then it's transferred to Unity Point in Dubuque, Iowa for 2 additional weeks of therapy and rehab. When I was in UW Hospital, the bill for that was $238,000 and med flight was $55,000. I'm very glad that Noah got hurt worse than I did in this accident. Maybe even worse than that, got killed in a job that I was supposed to be overseeing.
If you ask him about this accident, he has always said more good things happened on that day than bad things.
Since this accident happened to me, kind of opened my eyes to be more aware of your surroundings. Take more heed in the safety precautions. You have to be safe and remember there's no job that's too important that you don't come home to your family.
Oh, it's something we all do, but that's no reason to do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth the stress and all that on your families. You need to follow the guidelines. I know people don't want to make more work for the customer or anything like that, but it's not worth it for your family. Think of your family and your loved ones at home. It's not worth taking a chance.
Typically now when we do any type of excavations, of course we call Digger's Hotline before we have to dig so that we don't have any issues with utilities. We dig them much wider than what we had before. Anytime you're digging, no matter what it is, we want to try to do the best job we can, do the safest job we can, and do what's going to end up as far as being best for the customer. This accident that happened to me is something that could happen to anyone. It was not an unusual situation. It should have been a pretty easy, cut and dry, in and out project. It just happened to be in the right place at the wrong time. It's not all about getting that job done, not about getting it done today. If you don't get it done today, I guess you'll get it done tomorrow. Take your time, watch what you're doing, be aware of your surroundings. It gives you a new outlook on life. Don't sweat the small stuff.